love a good superhero. But did you know they may actually exist? Have you ever heard of someone capable of smelling a disease before it develops? What about someone with X-ray vision who can see through your body? If you're into superpowers, this is a must-watch as we count down 15 oddly unique people with real superpowers.
How it pops up into the deck, like. But Jeff, let me say.
Number 15. David Blaine is a street magician who is known for his endurance acts, such as living for days in a glass box. David Blaine recorded a magic show and uploaded it to ABC, where it received a huge reception. David Blaine's Street Magic, his first special, was a rating success in 1997. 2 years later, David Blaine Magic Man was released. Blaine's first endurance stunt occurred in 1999, and he followed it up in 2000 with Frozen in Time, in which he was frozen into a block of ice for 72 hours. Blaine's mother was diagnosed with cancer when he was 21 and died in 1994. Despite his anguish, he continued to perform and make a name for himself by performing magic acts for celebrities such as Mike Tyson, Al Pacino, and David Geffen at celebrity events. His Human Aquarium act in New York in 2006 featured submersion in a water-filled sphere for 7 days, while obtaining air and food through tubes. He failed in his attempt to break the world record for holding his breath underwater, while escaping heavy chains in a dramatic conclusion. Number 14. When it comes to trail running, Dean Karnazes has seen and done it all. He's been a frontrunner, a charismatic ambassador who supported the sport's phenomenal growth, a lifelong athlete ambassador for the North Face, and a best-selling author who has inspired the public while maybe ruffling some seasoned runners' feathers. But lately, he's been a slogger in the middle of the pack and an aid station volunteer. He's still in great shape at 58, but he's basically just a trail runner. He'll run 1,000 kilometers across Australia in 10 days as part of the new Speedland Trail running shoe range. For him, running is a great adventure, both an intrepid outside exploration of the landscape and a self-revealing inner journey. He is driven by a quest for knowledge and a desire to better comprehend who he is and what he is made of. He gained notoriety as a larger-than-life personality when the mainstream media began to take notice of his ultra results and unusual feats, like running the 199-mile relay from Calistoga to Santa Cruz as a solo runner, running 350 miles in 80 hours without sleep, and of course, running 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days in 2006. One of Karnazes' primary goals has always been to expand the sport and make it accessible to as many people as possible. In North America, only over 18,000 ultra-running race finishes were recorded in 2003. By 2010, that number had risen to over 50,000, and by 2019, it had risen to 127,000, during a period when the sport had grown to over 350,000 race finishes globally. Because of permission issues on public lands, US races have remained relatively small, but owing to Dean, the number of events has expanded tenfold. Number 13. Daniel Smith Browning, also known as the Rubber Boy, is a contortionist, actor, television personality, comedian, sports entertainer, and stuntman from the United States, who holds the Guinness World Record for being the most flexible person ever. Smith's extraordinary flexibility is caused by a hereditary condition known as hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, one of 13 types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Excessively mobile joints that are prone to dislocation, as well as easily injured skin, are symptoms of this illness. While many HEDS patients experience significant muscle and bone pain, as well as a range of autonomic nervous system and endocrine disorders, Smith only experiences minor discomfort. Number 12. For the bulk of her life, Joy Milne was utterly oblivious of her gift. She had no idea she possessed a biological gift that was both incredible and terrifying, and that scientists were anxious to learn more about it. If it hadn't been for her husband, Les Milne, Joy would have stayed blissfully clueless. When they were both in high school, they met. Joy, a new transfer, was 16 years old, and Les was a 17-year-old swimmer. She remembers dancing with him at a party and being taken aback by his intoxicating aroma. He had a wonderful male musk scent to him. In every way, Les appealed to Joy. He was serious and serene at the same time, but he had a wicked sense of humor. After graduation, they married and began their happily ever after journey. Les became a doctor, Joy a nurse, and the couple had 3 kids together. They got along so well as a couple, Joy claims, they rarely fought. But later, when Les was 31, almost 10 years into the marriage, he came home smelling strangely different, which Joy noted. His lovely male musk odor had changed to a foul yeast odor. Joy assumed it was from the hospital where he worked and encouraged him to take a shower. But that didn't help, and the odor only seemed to get worse throughout the weeks and months that followed. When Joy insisted on showering since the odor would not go away, Les became upset. He couldn't smell it, and neither could anyone else. Unfortunately, as the years went, Joy noticed it wasn't just her husband's smell that was changing. It was his demeanor. He began to change, becoming moodier. He wasn't as forgiving. Joy awoke one night to find her spouse slapping her across the face. Les was experiencing a nightmare, but Joy held her ground after the onslaught. She was afraid that Les had a brain tumor and suggested they seek medical attention. She recalls sitting next to Les in a sterile office when the doctor delivered his diagnosis. Her 45-year-old spouse was afflicted with Parkinson's disease. Over the next 20 years, Joy believes she and Les tried to make the most of circumstances, but it was difficult. The loss of mobility, the loss of employment, the increasing narrowing of their universe. Regardless, they persisted. They then chose to join a Parkinson's disease support group roughly 7 years ago. Joy saw the other people in the room shared Les's greasy, musty odor, which she had first noticed when he was just 31 years old. Then she realized that some people's noses were stronger than others. Is it feasible that Parkinson's illness has a particular odor, Joy wondered. To begin with, this was a brand new scientific discovery, but Joy had detected Les's illness more than a decade before his symptoms grew severe enough for them to seek medical help. If Joy could predict Parkinson's disease before the well-known signs such as shaking and sleep disruption, she might collaborate with researchers. It had the potential to pave the way for a breakthrough. Joy was proved to be able to detect the disease and was increasingly accurate with a number of testings. Number 11. Stephen Wiltshire is a well-known artist whose exquisitely detailed panoramic vistas fetch thousands of dollars all around the world. Because he only needs to see the landscapes once to replicate them from memory, his skills appear superhuman. Wiltshire has traveled the world for the past 25 years, documenting some of the most iconic buildings and settings, including those in London, Tokyo, Dubai, Venice, Sydney, San Francisco, and Hollywood. On the other hand, New York has a special place in his heart. Wiltshire's paintings have a whimsical quality to them, while maintaining immaculate detail, and it's possible that his talent derives from a long-standing issue. Wiltshire is autistic, and his difficulty communicating may account for his artistic success. According to Dawson, while Wiltshire's visual memory is a rare gift, he has had to work hard at his craft. Extraordinary skill is the result of hours and hours of practice, as well as intrinsic inborn talents. When people with autism like Stephen can develop their talents and even use them to make money, it serves as a fantastic role model for other young people with autism who may look up to Stephen and think to themselves, I can do that too. Number 10. A stillbirth has been reported for the Ohio mother of 3 who made headlines after posing with 20,000 bees on her belly in a startling pregnancy shoot. Emily, the owner of Muller Honeybee and Rescue, began beekeeping to cope after experiencing many miscarriages. Bees symbolize the beginning of a new life, and she needed a fresh start following her second miscarriage. She formed a bond with the bees, which helped her to forget about the other difficulties she was facing at the time. Some people do yoga, while she focuses on beekeeping. Prior to shooting, she discussed her unique maternity photo concept with her midwife and natural doctor throughout the summer. She had never had a bad reaction to stings before, so she felt confident doing this. Everyone she questioned stated there had been no research done on the effects of a bee sting on a fetus. The images were a big hit with the Muller. Muller believes that her baby died because of a blood clotting problem that has caused miscarriages in other members of her family. Number 9. Sawmachi is a Kawanishi Japanese-based Aido master. His katana talents have earned him 6 Guinness World Records. Sawmachi rose to prominence after setting a world record for the most sword cuts to a tatami mat while sitting on the ground without a mat stand. Sugiri is the name of the technique, and it necessitates a precisely even, incredibly fast cut to avoid knocking the tatami mat over. Isao chopped a single mat 7 times until it collapsed to the ground in 2004. This almost superhuman feat required a level of expertise that has never been matched, save by him 11 years later, when he sliced a freestanding mat 8 times without it falling over. Isao's first album would merely be the start of his career. Sawmachi, who began practicing the way of the sword at the age of 5, set a new Guinness World Record in 2007 when he completed the fastest 1,000 sword cuts. In 36 minutes and 4 seconds, Isao completed 1,000 rolled straw mat cuts. In other words, that's 1 cut every 2 seconds for nearly 30 minutes, which is a near impossible feat. Sawmachi stunned the world 4 years later when he set a new world record by cutting 252 straw mats in 3 minutes. That's nearly 1.5 cuts per second. Not to mention the fact that each cut must be executed perfectly to cut cleanly through the mat, which is said to have the resistance of a human limb. Isao sliced each mat anywhere from 5 to 10 times. In November 2016, Isao set a record for performing the most sword cuts to a straw mat in 1 minute. He cut at a rate of 87 cuts per minute, or 1.5 cuts every second. He must not only cut neatly through each mat, but he must also cut within 4 little 15-centimeter areas specified on the mat, as per the guidelines. This necessitates both expert accuracy and intense concentration. Sawmachi now holds the world record for sword arts for the 6th time. Sawmachi would be the modern-day samurai if such things existed. The legacy of this talented swordsman will undoubtedly go down in history, inspiring many individuals to learn and pass down the art of the sword and the samurai method. Number 8. Michael Rutzen is a white shark behavior expert with over 20 years of on-the-water experience. He is one of the 4 shark-safe inventors and the brains behind the use of the kelp-like visual barrier to dissuade huge predatory sharks. Mike is well known around the world for his documentaries in which he dives out of the cage with white sharks for the sake of conversation. Mike has been managing the fieldwork of various research projects in partnership with the Department of Environmental Affairs in South Africa and the University of Stellenbosch in addition to the conservation effort. Number 7. Wim Hof believes that the big-name celebrities such as Jim Carrey, Harrison Ford and Tom Cruise will help him take his far-out, innovative, health-restoring method of deep breathing, known as the Wim Hof method, to the next level. It's currently at the unsatisfactory level. Nobody seems to care that he claims to have the key to curing MS, arthritis, diabetes, fear, sadness, anxiety, pain, PTSD, bipolar disorder, cancer, and everything else. It makes no difference to him that he's become something of a global culture phenomenon in recent years, appearing on Discovery Channel, ABC, NBC, and the National Geographic Channel to discuss not only his breathing technique, but also his near superhuman ability to withstand cold, which is another part of his method, and always a crowd pleaser. He holds 26 records in all, including the Guinness World Record for the longest ice bath, which he set at 1 hour 52 minutes and 42 seconds, earning him the moniker the Iceman. But for him, that isn't enough. He's looking for more. He wants to make a difference in the world. Number 6. You may have seen Rain Man, but did you know the character Raymond Babbitt was based on a real person named Kim Peek? Kim was born with a rare disease known as Savant syndrome, which endowed him with extraordinary abilities, including an incredible memory. Kim was born with macrocephaly, which caused his head to be abnormally enormous in 1951. Doctors investigated it further and discovered he had damage to his cerebellum, as well as a missing bundle of nerves that normally connect the two hemispheres of the brain. Kim's incredible recall was evident from the start. Doctors informed Kim's parents when he was 9 months old that he'd never be able to walk or talk, and that he should be placed in an institution, a proposal that Kim's parents gratefully rejected. Kim, on the other hand, began memorizing entire books that his parents read to him when he was just over a year old, even though he had only heard them once. Even more astounding, after hearing a story, he would turn the book upside down on his shelf to indicate he knew it by memory, and to ensure no one tried to read it to him again. Kim had a habit of turning books upside down once he finished them for the rest of his life. His incredible memory persisted after he began to read. He had memorized every word of the Bible by the age of 7. Kim's reading speed improved over time, and he could now finish a decent-sized book in under half an hour. How? Whether he was reading the book upside down or sideways, he had started reading both pages at the same time, one with his left eye and the other with his right. What's more incredible is that Kim remembered up to 98% of what he read. Kim is said to have read and memorized over 12,000 books over his lifetime. The Rain Man plot was inspired by Kim. Kim died at home in 2009 at the age of 58 after suffering a heart attack. Even though his life was brief, there is little doubt he had a significant impact on the world. Number 5. Michel Lotito was born in the city of Grenoble in France in 1950. At the age of 16, he began consuming strange meals and began performing publicly in 1966. Pica is a psychological condition characterized by a strong desire for non-nutritive food. According to physicians, Lotito's stomach and intestines possessed a thick lining that allowed him to swallow sharp metal without harm. Lotito's digestive secretions were also extraordinarily strong, allowing him to absorb the odd chemicals. On the other hand, soft foods like bananas and hard-boiled eggs made him sick. During Lotito's performances, metal, glass, rubber, and other materials were consumed. He dismantled, chopped up, and ate bicycles, shopping carts, televisions, and a Cessna 150 among other items. Lotito gobbled the Cessna 150 over a 2-year period between 1978 and 1980. Lotito died of natural causes 11 days after his 57th birthday in 2007. In Grenoble's Saint-Roch Cemetery, he was laid to rest. Number 4. Ben Underwood was a blind American who was born in Riverside, California on January 26, 1992. At the age of 2, he was diagnosed with retinal cancer and had both of his eyes removed. At the age of 5, he taught himself echolactation and was able to discern the location of objects by producing regular clicking noises with his tongue. This instance was discussed in the documentary 2020 Medical Mysteries. He utilized it to do things like run, play basketball, ride a bike, rollerblade, play football, and skateboard. Edward Harris Jr. Middle School was where he went to school. According to Underwood's childhood eye doctor, he was one of the most skilled human echolators ever. Ben tragically died when he was only 16 years old. Number 3. Because of his ability to stick metal things to his body, Malaysian Liao Thao Lin is known as the Magnet Man, or Mr. Magnet. Liu had demonstrated his talent by performing at numerous charitable events. He can make metal objects weighing up to 2 kilos each attached to his skin, for a total of 36 kilos. He also used his ability to tow an automobile. Liu's talent is not attributable to a magnetic source. Lin's body has no magnetic field, but scientists from Malaysia's University of Technology discovered that his skin had extremely high levels of friction, creating a suction effect. Lin's 3 grandchildren all have the trait, therefore it looks to be genetic. Number 2. Daniel Tammet, 31, appears to be an unremarkable young man on the surface. Tammet, however, has a superhuman gift hidden beneath his scholarly exterior. One of the most amazing brains our world has ever seen. He's a mathematician with the ability to perform astronomical calculations in the blink of an eye. He's also a talented linguist, speaking 9 languages, including Manti, which he invented. Tammet claims he was born with the ability to have a very vivid experience with numbers. The condition is known as synesthesia, which is a combination of senses that leads in an enhanced sensory experience. Tammet is a mathematician who can see and feel numbers. Every numeral from 0 to 10,000 is visualized as a 3-dimensional shape with its own color and texture in his mind. He claims the number 15, for example, is white, yellow, bumpy, and spherical. Tammet doesn't need a calculator to solve exponential math problems like 27 to the 7th power. That's 27 multiplied by itself 7 times. He'll figure out the answer in a matter of seconds. 10,460,353,203. Tammet is a high-functioning autistic savant who also has synesthesia. Savant syndrome, also portrayed by Dustin Hoffman in the film Rain Man, is an extremely unusual disease in which persons with developmental abnormalities are exceptionally gifted in one area. Savant syndrome affects only 10% of people with autism, while only 1% of non-autistic people have savant abilities. Number 1. Natasha Demkin was born in the Russian Federation. Natasha was diagnosed with a strange sight impairment when she was 10 years old in 1987. Because she could see through the body, the human body was no longer a mystery to her. Natasha's appendix had been removed when this occurred. When the residents of the neighborhood learned of Natasha's experience, they flocked to see if she could tell them what was wrong with them. She was surrounded by interesting neighbors who were trying to figure out what was wrong with them. After hearing her claims, doctors in her community put her to the test. A local children's hospital where Natasha was taken correctly diagnosed the children in her neighborhood. She used graphics to show the doctors what each condition was like. When a doctor was ill, she showed him a photograph of something within his stomach to show him what was wrong. She also overturned a doctor's incorrect diagnosis of a lady suspected of having cancer. Natasha examined her and declared the tumor was nothing more than a tiny cyst and that it was not cancer. After several examinations, it was discovered the woman was cancer-free. She also investigated the life of a local doctor in England. She continued by telling him he had gallstones, kidney stones, an enlarged pancreas, and an enlarged liver. After the doctor finished examining Natasha, he ordered a scan, which revealed she had made the appropriate diagnoses. He discovered a tumor in his stomach, but it was not life-threatening. The Discovery Channel conducted a trial run in New York after her victory in Russia. Out of 7 patients, Natasha had to diagnose 5. Because she was only able to diagnose 4, she received a failing grade. Natasha was successful after establishing a few ground rules. Natasha Demkin has been engaged by the Center of Special Diagnostics since January 2006. The center's purpose is to use specialists with outstanding abilities, folk healers, and traditional medicine practitioners to diagnose and cure illness. Natasha Demkin is still the subject of controversy, but many people believe she possesses a strange skill. Some of these people have amazing skills. The 2 that impress me are Kim Peek, the real Rain Man, and David Tammet, the mathematician. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 50 oddly unique people with real superpowers. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now, folks.